My name is Jed McKeehan, and today we're going to talk about what a prenuptial agreement is, or it's often shortened to a prenup. So nuptials, that word means, essentially it means wedding. So what is a pre-wedding agreement between a couple? All right, so let's talk about this. When we think about a couple getting married and having a wedding, we think about them entering into a relationship where they will share all of their assets. A prenuptial agreement doesn't really do that. What they're saying is this couple is entering into agreement, says, hey, I've accrued this prior to our marriage and I want it to be separate property from our marital property. Now, anything accrued during the marriage is considered marital property, and if parties get divorced later, that property is to be equitably divided. And now that doesn't necessarily mean equal, but it often means equal. So everything accrued during a marriage would be divided. However, those things accrued prior to the marriage would be kept separate. And so when people enter prenuptial agreements, they may have gone through multiple marriages already, been divorced a few times, or they may be getting married later in life and have a whole bunch of assets they've accrued, and they want to keep those separate from their marital assets. They don't want them to join in. And so what they do is they will list out as detailed as they can all of their assets they've accrued, boats, cars, bank accounts, 401ks, things like that. They will disclose that list to the other side. Both sides will exchange numbers and figures and assets, and they will say, I don't want any of that. I agree that's your separate property, and this is my separate property. And you have to have a full disclosure for it to be a valid prenup agreement. If there's anything left off there, normally that prenup agreement can be stricken down as invalid. So that's what a prenup agreement is. You don't see them too often because most of the time people come into a marriage and say, hey, I want to enter into this relationship and share everything I have with you. But on occasion, you will see a prenup agreement where people want to keep things separate and not have everything they've accrued already become marital property. You can find out more about this legal issue and other legal issues by going to my website, attorney-knoxville.com. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter. You can check out my podcast, Insession, in the iTunes store. You can also view my other YouTube videos.